Hey guys, and welcome to the DBGA podcast, a podcast where we interview top level executives inside leading and growing companies in the beauty and e commerce industry. Excited to have our guest today, Bill Wollrab. We'll be diving into his story and a little bit about what his company does and some engaging insights into the e commerce industry. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Bill. Could you please introduce yourself and tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at AllPeople?
Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Wollrab. Um, my background is investment banking, investment real estate. And then I was one of the co founders of the Yard House restaurant chain that started in Long Beach, California in 1995. And eventually all the restaurants were sold to the Olive Garden for about $575 million in 2012. And I don't mention that to boast. I mention that because it's somewhat relevant to our startup model that we are working on called All People. Website address is allpeople.co or allpeoplemarketplace.com. So back in 2000, excuse me, back in 1995, we needed to raise our first $1 million for the first restaurant. And I suggested to my partners that we raise that money from a large group of small investors versus a small group, excuse me, a large group of small investors versus a small group of large investors, because I felt the more investors we had, the more customers we would have. And that turned out to be very true. These people came in 5, 6 times a week with friends and family and business lunches and dinners, but more importantly, they created so much buzz in the local community, it allowed us to cut our marketing costs in half compared to other restaurants. So I saw the power of word of mouth marketing. I saw the this new benefit or advantage of creating this investor slash customer persona or profile. And after a few years, I was bought out. I moved on and did some other ventures in California. And then in 2016, equity crowdfunding became law, and otherwise known as the Jobs Act, which stands for Jumpstart Our Business Startups. So that new law now allows for non accredited investors, meaning non millionaires, which are 94% of the population, to be able to invest as little as $100 in a startup company. So I said, let's start an online marketplace that sells many of the staple products that we all buy and consume on a regular basis, and put aside a good portion of the company to be owned by the customers to create this more democratic, fair, equitable, sticky stakeholder business model. So rather than having all the profits go to billionaires, institutional investors, let's funnel that back to the customers who are, in fact, the lifeblood of any business and create this very customer centric business model. So that was the philosophical reason we created this new online marketplace. Now, the business rationale behind it was equity crowdfunding is a very low cost customer acquisition strategy, meaning that if people read about what we're trying to do and they like it and they want to invest $100 or more, whatever they're comfortable investing, um, the odds are very good that they will become not only our customer, a repeat customer, but also our evangelists or our brand ambassadors. So we will tell them over and over that we want them to tell their friends and family about us. We want them to post on social media about us, because the more they do these things, the more that we grow and the more that their stock goes up in value. So that was the philosophical and the business reasoning for wanting to create this marketplace that we will launch in June of this year, 2024. The second pillar of our model is where we partner with nonprofits and schools and school districts. They market us to their supporters or the children's families. And when those people buy products, 5% of each purchase goes to that organization. Now, that's 10 times as much as the old Amazon Smile program that no longer exists. They pulled the plug on that in 2023, and they were only offering one half of 1%. So, our goal here was to create a significant new passive recurring revenue model for nonprofits and schools. Um, and let's see, that where people that wanted to support their kids' schools and or their favorite nonprofit could do that easily with every purchase of that they make of all the necessity or staple products that they consume on a regular basis. Now, the philosophical reason for doing that was I felt like I wanted to give that money to your favorite nonprofit or your children's school instead of Google, Facebook, or an expensive marketing agency. And the business reasoning, again, was to reduce our CAC or customer acquisition costs, therefore increasing our LTV or lifetime value, therefore also increasing our margins, allowing us to reduce our product pricing even more. So, one of the common threads of our model is reducing that customer acquisition cost, and that 5% is far less than our competitors spending 15 to 20% of their annual budgets on marketing and advertising, which in our opinion is kind of silly because they spend a lot of money trying to convince you to buy their products, and they just put that expense on top of the product price, which you end up paying for. So, um, and then the last pillar of our model is we want to make sure that we are offering the most sustainable, eco friendly products on the market today. These come from product suppliers that share our values and share our vision. And in a nutshell, what we are trying to do, Rachel, is we are trying to create a community of like minded, socially and environmentally responsible consumers, nonprofits, and for-profit companies, the product suppliers, to create a catalyst for large-scale social and environmental change. And I know that's a big statement, but this is a big idea that we think will reach a much deeper emotional level with consumers because we're giving them a vested financial as well as a psychological or an emotional interest in the company. So um, that's it. That's this new business model that I often describe as a more of a hybrid social movement and a an online marketplace where we are the focus is less on just selling products and it's more on creating this new fair and democratic business structure or model. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for sharing all of this. It's very interesting. And so you kind of touched upon how you got into the e-commerce industry, but I would like to know what is about your job or industry that you're passionate about?
Well, there's a long answer to your short question, but originally I have been an environmentalist going back to the seventh grade when I was writing letters to the local newspaper here in Bloomington, Illinois, about things like acid rain and what to do with nuclear waste. So I've been an environmentalist from childhood actually, and I wanted to figure out a way to support environmental groups and other nonprofits that I was passionate about. And I knew that um, a lot of products that, for example, shampoo costs about $3 a bottle to manufacture and will retail at a store like Whole Foods for $10 to $15. So I always wondered where all that margin went. And I knew that we could create or sell products with a lot of uh, margin where we could donate a substantial amount to a nonprofit or a children's school. That was that was the original idea. Was it creating a means of supporting nonprofits and schools where their budgets were very limited. Um, and then the other part that came to me at some point, I think reading about different business models. One was called Mondragon out of Spain. That was an employee owned company started 50 years ago by a monk who created a very small employee owned company. And today it is about 70,000 employees with about 70 different companies under one umbrella. And the benefit of that company was that an employee owned company where the lowest paid employee, the highest paid employee, usually the CEO, cannot make more than 10 times the lowest paid employee. So they are also trying to address economic inequality and create better business models that are more fair, which is now today called the new stakeholder business model. So what we're trying to do is stack the benefits, whether people want to be altruistic and support their favorite nonprofit or the kid's school, or create this more democratic, fair, and equitable business model, as well as offering the healthiest, most sustainable products on the market today.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. And I see this trend overall because consumers are interested more and more in how they consume products. Are these products respectful of the environment? Are they good for them, for their health, and everything? So um, I totally understand this interest that you have as well as a business owner because it's actually answering is a very real and need that people have at the moment. So I want to ask you as well, what are the current trends in the industry um, besides that you are aware of? What winds are blowing? What are you noticing in the e-commerce market?
Great question. Well, the trends are that more and more marketplaces are going to their own private label products. And that's where we want to go as well within the next 6 months, where we can greatly increase our margins, thereby giving more back to the nonprofits and lowering our product pricing even more, and actually offering lower prices with higher quality products than all of our competitors. So that's one trend. The other trend is we know more and more consumers are spending a lot of time trying to find the healthiest products on the market to bring into their homes for themselves and their children, that they can put in and on their bodies. So, for example, people are spending a lot of time trying to find sunscreen that won't give them cancer, or chocolate that doesn't have heavy metals. Well, as we grow and evolve, we want to make sure that all the products that we offer are independently verified, vetted, certified products by entities like EWG that looks at the ingredients of products to make sure that these are the safest ingredients on the market today, and they rate these products on a scale of 1 to 10. Well, we want all of our products to be independently certified, so that people can quickly identify what are the safest products, what are the safest products that are not tested on animals, what are the most organic products, and in a nutshell, what are the companies that produce these products that share our values and our vision. So we know more and more consumers are looking for customers that share their values, that are not just trying to sell products and create a profit, but that are mostly transactional, um, but are transformative. So, for example, uh, more and more consumers want to do business with B corporations that, yes, there are for profit companies that want to make a profit, and create a return on investment for their investors, but also have some social and environmental benefit. Those are the companies that are going to evolve and survive. And those companies that don't have that sort of mindset will eventually alienate their customers and not be successful.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you for sharing this. And now
You're
I want
welcome.
to transition a little bit and learn more about your company. So, could you tell me about your company and what products are over at Old People?
Certainly. Well, we, as I said, we're looking to launch in early June, and we're doing some fine tuning on our products, the brands, the product pricing, and making sure that we are very competitive with all of our competitors. Um, we are revising our website to make sure that it has the best UX UI, uh, that is again very competitive with the competitive landscape out there. We want to make sure that we have a robust customer loyalty program where we can benefit repeat customers. Probably one of the most unique things that we want that and powerful things that we want to do is create these loyal customers who are also our brand ambassadors or our evangelists, where that we are inspiring them, incentivizing them to tell their friends and family, to post on social media, with the continued message that the more they do those things, the more that we grow, the more their stock goes up in value, because we will be utilizing equity crowdfunding, otherwise known as the Jobs Act, to not only raise customer or raise money, but to get very loyal repeat customers.
Okay, thank you. And now you kind of touched upon this already, but um, because you have a very unique business model, what unique value do all people bring to your customers?
Also, a great question. What we're trying to do is satisfy two things. We know it's human nature that when a proposal or proposition is put in front of somebody and they look at it and they say, "What's in it for me?" In our model, what's in it for them it is a financial benefit. So, for example, you can go to Amazon or you can go to Costco, you can pay your $150 annual membership fee, and they simply give you access to their store. We actually give you stock or ownership in the company. So there's a selfish aspect to our model, and I mean that in a very positive way. There's nothing wrong with making money, so we want to satisfy that aspect, but we also want to tap into that attribute that I think most people have in their personalities, this altruism of helping nonprofits and schools, and also being part of a new business model, trying to create a more democratic, fair, equitable business model that actually addresses economic inequality. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and I'm sure in building this business, you have encountered certain challenges. So, what are some of the challenges of being the CEO at All People? What do the day-to-day challenges look like for you?
Those challenges are that we know that we are competing with the deepest pocketed companies in the world, like an Amazon, like a Walmart, and where we need to create a baseline that we know that we have to be equal to all of our competitors with shipping, convenience, pricing, user experience, website, everything else. But we, at the same time, we have to combine that with our philosophical differences, which we think will be the game changer. That will be the tipping point where we know it's difficult to change people's habits, especially their shopping habits. Um, and there has to be a very compelling reason for people to stop shopping at one store, whether it's brick and mortar or online, and get them to start buying products elsewhere. So it's the creation of that messaging, that content, the telling of that inspirational story that is really our biggest challenge. Um, so it's both the real world competing with other marketplaces, and doing everything that they do and offering convenience, good pricing, high quality products, and then on top of that offering our emphasizing our differentiators or our advantages of everything I've just described.
Well, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. And now I want to ask you, in your experience, what do you think is the type of mindset that is needed to be a successful CEO?
Well, I'll tell you what has worked for me. I've never really been a follower. I like to try to think of, I like to look at business models and figure out a new way of either attracting customers or resonating with customers and retaining those customers. For example, with the Yard House, I knew that it was better to attract a large group of smaller investors because I knew that the more of those people that we could attract, the more that they would not only come into the restaurant, but talk about us within the local community. So I like to be critical and look at business models and figure out how we could do them better, or look at different business models and pick those things, those attributes that are working for them, and combine them into one singular business model to have a lot of different positives from different things that other companies are doing to be successful. So, um, again, I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a very innovative approach. So thank you for sharing this. And now I want to transition a little bit into a different topic because, as you know, we are a data analytics company. So I'm always curious to hear about other people's experiences in the industry when it comes to data. So could you share some insights on the role of data analytics and understanding trends and consumer preferences within your company? How does data influence decision making and strategies at all people?
Well, this will probably be the worst answer I can give you. Uh, the data, which to me is I am not. I'm probably on the older end of the demographics of the people that will be our customers. So, data, big data, certainly is going to be incredibly important on in regard to who is our demographics, who are buying the products that we are offering, which products are selling, which ones are not. Um, so I'm not a very technical person. I am very unfamiliar with data and big data, data analytics. But we that is another challenge for us is making sure that we have a team of specialists that know data and can analyze it and guide us in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that it's a challenge because also data can come from very different sources. So collecting it, making sure that you have the right technology and processes in place to leverage it correctly can be challenging. So um, you mentioned a few challenges being building a team. Are there any other challenges that you face in gathering and utilizing data effectively in your role at All People?
Well, I think this applies where we are using a very unique marketing or customer acquisition strategy where we are not using the traditional and very expensive paid advertising. We don't want to do that both philosophically and from a business point of view. As I said earlier, I don't want to spend a lot of money trying to convince people to buy our products when they end up paying for that. Um, and from a business point of view, we need to become a more financially efficient model than these large competitors in this very crowded space. So um, that's my answer.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And now you mentioned that you're launching on June, but what is your vision for the next 12 months? I guess a lot of things are coming.
Yeah, our vision for the next 12 months is to acquire those initial customers who believe in us philosophically and convincing them and incentivizing them to tell the world about us through word of mouth, to friends and family, posting on social media, and then again incentivizing them to become our evangelists with discounted product pricing. So over the next 12 months, we that's uh, and rolling out our own private label products, onboarding new nonprofit partners. Um, those are those are our goals over the next 12 months.
Okay, awesome. Very, very exciting projects coming. And now I have a last question. It's a loaded one, but I think it's a good one to kind of wrap things up. What are some of the most important things you've learned in your career?
The, what I've learned is that I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned as an entrepreneur and an angel investor throughout most of my career, you have to do a lot of introspection. And some things that I have learned about myself are that I am, in fact, very um, resilient, uh, and that I have this tenaciousness about me that doesn't give up. And it's not just because I have a lot of time and money invested in this. It is because I believe in my heart of hearts that this is a great business model, or I actually like to call it a philosophy that will make this a better world and help people. So um, it's really taught me a lot about myself. It's not just the things that I think are positives, but it's also taught me things that where I my weaknesses. So I've learned to better become a better leader, become a better um, to to work with people that is um, inspires them. It doesn't really challenge them. What I want to do is inspire people to be part of this collaborative team, and where I'm not necessarily critical, but it's better that I'm a good example for others and not the typical top-down management style. Um, but I want people to know that we are less of a hierarchy and we are more this collaborative team trying to push this unique business model that's really never been done before across the finish line and hopefully become viral, resonate with a significant portion of the population. So it's been challenging, but it is for me. It's not work. It is invigorates me. It energizes me, uh, and to bring like-minded people on board that this resonates with me. That's what truly energizes me every day. Knowing that the aspects of our business model resonate with people who are looking for uh, solutions to our social and environmental and our economics environment today, because we live in a world where there's a lot of mistrust. There's a lot of people that feel disenfranchised. There's a lot of people that are angry, and they don't they want to do business with companies that reflect their values and that are and they want to belong to communities that are not just um, all about selfishness. We are trying to epitomize selflessness and at the same time help individuals, help families, help communities, help nonprofits, help schools. Um, that's a big challenge, but I think we have refined our model to where our message will resonate with a large portion of the population.
Yeah, definitely. That's a beautiful mission that you have at All People, and thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Now, for the people that are listening or watching and that want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
They can find us at my email is bill@allpeople.co, not .com, .co. And our website is all people, ALL people, PEOPLE.co, or allpeoplemarketplace.com. That's where you can find me, and that's where you can find our website.
Amazing. I'll put all that information in the description of the podcast. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.